Welcome back to another part of fixing this Jaguar, Jaguar 420G. This is part 21. We're going to get out of the name convention because we've made major progress. As you might have noticed, the wheels are back on the ground and the engine's looking pretty damn good. This is all, I did all this work within the past week or so. The day I got the cylinder head back, I was like, get it done. I was waiting for it for so fucking long, and it's like when I finally got it, I was like, thank God. The head had to be shaved quite a bit. A good thing too that I got the head shaved because the cylinder head, I was told by the machinist, was banana shaped in the center. It actually raised, and he had to take approximately 9 thou off the head, which is very close to 1/100th of an inch. Or in metric terms, 0.23 millimeters, which is about 1/4 millimeter. That's a lot. That's a significant chunk of headspace had to be taken from the surface. However, he said the valves are in perfect condition, the coolant galleries are in perfect condition. The only issue was bananaed and 9 thou over had to be shaved off. So if we didn't do it, it would have blown instantly. So I took the old cams from the old head and I went to install them onto this head. I measured up the bearing journals and they're the exact same as the 420G original cylinder head, as this XJ6 Series 2 mid-70s head. So I was able to put my cams over to here. I couldn't get new cam bearings because they were just a standard size bearing. And everything was worn in anyway, worn into each other, so I just reused the same cam bearings from the old head in the new head and mix and matched where I damaged them and things. Totally wasn't due to the fact that I couldn't buy them new, and everyone was telling me you can get them for like 40 bucks, but you can't get them for just 40 bucks, and you can't just get them. So I had to reuse some bearings. They were in okay condition. There was no problem with them at all. The cylinder head came together pretty well, so you just line up the camshaft notches 9 degrees to this ceiling rocker cover bank, and then you know, once it's there, it's fine. I use a liberal dose of engine oil, just standard engine oil, because again, we're dealing with used parts here, we're not dealing with brand new parts. So I thought about putting assembly lube in here, but it really wasn't required. So yeah, I just used a nice clean working area, you know, lint-free cloths, just clean everything and then oil everything, you know, chase it with oil and just oil everything. So that's what I did. Once I got the camshafts in here, I then installed the inlet manifold, put this whole mess onto the inlet and fastened them all down with new bolts. New nuts, so that's really cool. It was about at that time, you know, when the carbies were on, the cams were in, the studs were changed. Another change that I did real quick before I continue was I changed the studs here because 2 of these studs were too long. I'm not sure what the XJ6 Series 2s have, but they supposedly need something to accommodate the extra stud length, so I robbed that from my old head as well. Was put the shorter studs on here so I can use these nice acorn nuts. I then turned it from this direction, this orientation, over to here. Because this breather used to connect to the air box that was here, that no longer is. Like that's still on my shelf. I haven't thrown it away. Jesus Christ! It's just yeah, with these individual air cleaners, I gave this one its own individual air cleaner too. So once the cylinder block was all prepped and nice, copious amounts of brake cleaner. Do not skimp out the fucking brake cleaner. Use as much as you need. You'll regret not doing it. So just a cunt load of brake cleaner on both the sealing surfaces on the block and the cylinder face. This was really heavy. Once the camshafts were in, the inlet had gone on, I couldn't lift this. I had to get my neighbor again to help me lift this into the car. And then this was still on jack stands, so the lip of the car was even higher. So what we did was, okay, so before we go on, I did time the bottom end of the motor to its TDC. Timing these engines is really easy. So yeah, you find TDC on the block, make sure you're on number 6 compression stroke on the distributor, and we'll touch on that in a second, and that the cams are at their TDC position, and that's it. You are not crashing valves into anything, so that's really cool. But yeah, my neighbor came around, we both did a 2-man lift. I had my feet on the fender wells here, and I just like fed it between my legs. He was on the side like feeding it through, and by the time it reached these studs here, it like dropped onto the block. He almost lost his fingers because he had his fingers up in the cam chains. It was fucking nuts. I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, so I better just say it now before I keep going. This was the SU bowl that was damaged. This is not fixed with JB Weld. This is a new part, so don't worry. I've still got the repaired JB Weld part on the shelf, just in case, as you know, but this got replaced, and while I was on the bench, and these got cleaned out, despite their external appearances, so yeah, very cool to see that. We torqued these all down. There was no torque stages. It didn't go like 20 to 40 to, because the end torque has to be 55 foot-pounds, but it didn't say what stages to do. It said the torque sequence, but not stages, so I just did these from 20 to 40 to 55, 3 stages, and it seems to work okay. So yeah, so that was a really fun install. It took me about a day. Yeah, I think it was heavier than anything, but God forbid if I have to take this off again. I don't know how that's going to happen, but yeah. So this is going to be another part where you're not going to be able to see a lot, yeah, there's things I have to explain here. So once the head was on, it was torqued down, the timing was verified to be good. I put the safety wires in the sprockets, I locked it all down, everything was good. I was like, you know, high expectations. I like got into the car, cranked it for the first time, got over the fact that it's not going to crash into the valves, you know, and really like excited now. But you keep cranking and nothing's happening, and what had happened was I'm going to cut 8 hours really fucking short right now. I might place a few video clips here. I was diagnosing things here and there, and what I failed to do was I didn't space the fucking points correctly. You don't put the insulator on first and then stack your points wire on top of that, because that's just going to make it ground out into the rest of the distributor and you'll get no fucking spark after that. It was no spark at the points was the whole issue, and it was just because I was earthing it out to the fucking dizzy every single time. You put the insulator in after you put the wires on so that it insulates it from the fucking dizzy. That's the point of it. So, whoops, that took me 8, 7, 6 something hours to figure out. But once I figured that out, Christ, should I just start it? You can hear how well this thing actually performs. It starts really, really well. I haven't touched that dizzy, I haven't even twisted it to get like a proper tune on it or anything. It just starts, watch this. Easy, easy. It's quiet, it's smooth. I built this in my driveway on a pallet in the rain. The engine block was 150 bucks. The cylinder head was 30 bucks. Absolute winner. I fucking love this engine. This is awesome. There's still a few things we have to do though, and let me just show you what needs to be done before we can drive this. Do you see that leak from that Welsh plug? Makes like a little puddle there. About 3 Welsh plugs on the exhaust side are leaking. I did a bad install, which should have been avoidable because, you know, like we had this on a pallet out just here. So, you know, you would have been able to get it pretty straight. Unfortunately, I did not. I checked the other side, the inlet side. No leaky welsch plugs, thank God it's not on that side, because that would be a very hard side to get to. This just requires the exhaust manifold to be taken off and then them dealt with. I've already got the welsch plugs already to repair that. It's a shame that it's happened, but what can you do? I mean, if this is all that's wrong with the engine, I'll fucking take it. Big cats mark their territory. It's got a nice little oil stain there. It's currently dripping. I checked the sump, and luckily that's not the cause. That's not the blame. It's actually this banjo bolt fitting here pissing all the fluid. All I have to do is, well, tighten it up. Great success. Isn't that just, that's lovely. Now, how lovely is this interior? The biggest issue I found was I was getting worried about the torque converter, so the transmission. Don't worry, nothing's happened in here. It's all in the transmission. It's even worse. I was so worried about the torque converter not being seated properly, which I thought, you know, if that's not seated properly, because it's the first time I've done it, if that's not seated properly, that's an engine out job regardless. You can't really slip the transmission out of one of these in your driveway. That's really hard to do. It does drive, like, so you start, you know, you start it up, you put it into drive, it'll go forward, right? Its issue is that in park, it's in reverse. I'm really worried about this. It seems like it's picking up park and reverse at the same time. However, Jaguar manual actually has a really good diagnostics resource, and I believe my fault falls under, and I'll put it up on the screen, park won't engage. So it feels like it's not engaging, and it's engaging reverse when it's in the park position. And apparently the issue is really easy. According to the manual and according to what I can do, I can just adjust that shifter cable and then it might come back and it'll be fine. Then that might be it. That might be the only issue with it. It just feels like it's engaging park and reverse at the same time. Because you'll have it in park, rev it, and it'll go backwards. I think that's because this shifter isn't lined up properly, because it's not lined up on this steering column here. So, man, we're gonna have to leave it there. It's been a long video. A lot's happened in the past week alone. I should be getting tyres for this soon. I mean, depending on if everything sorts out the engine and it's fine, which is looking like that. It's looking like I've done it correctly this time. I've done it incorrectly before, and believe me, that really hurts your ego. The 245 Hemi in the wagon you see sometimes. Oh my god, I'll have to tell you that. I'll have to save that for another day when I last did this. But this has restored my confidence in building an engine, like, in your driveway. But yeah, I'm really excited to see real progress with this car again. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a good day.
Berries, cherries, and an angel's kiss in spring.